Hey guys, it's Jules Draws, and today I'm going to be showing you the time lapse, and I'm adding my own commentary to it. This is part 4, but technically it's part 1 and the finale of my Dragon Age series with my Warden and Alistair from Dragon Age Origins. This one was kind of hard. I think anonymity-wise I had a lot of issues, but yeah, just going off as the screen is showing, this background is from the game Dragon Age Origins, and I just felt like it would be pretty fitting for them to be like, you know, having a little romantic moment in front of. So this base slash, like, it's a base, but I was very inspired by it, which is why I'm making the piece, and it's by Musion. I'll put in the credits in the description, but I used my own models from 3D mannequins, but I did use kind of like the bottom of the male from the base in Alistair's, just because I think my mannequin model that I did wasn't really making a lot of sense. But I think so I changed, obviously in the base by Musion, you can see that the girl, my Warden, is supposed to be looking forward. But I changed that to be looking behind her shoulder because I felt like it gave more kind of dynamic, and just I felt like this piece, this whole series really is supposed to be showing my character and then the character that I romanced in the game. So I changed it to be looking behind her shoulder, and I'm very glad I did that decision, even though it gave me a lot of hardship. And like, no, it wasn't really hard. I feel like it was just difficult for me, I guess, because in that anonymity sense it didn't really make sense, and I thought it made sense, but it didn't. I think you can see in the end of the game at the end of the time lapse from the finale of like the video portion, and looking at the final piece, you can see I even lowered her head more, and I'm glad I did that. And I only did that because when I showed my mom, she gave me like the is she an owl? Her head doesn't make sense. And I was like, oh, okay, Mom. So I switched it to be even more lower, and then she said, okay, that looks fine. I was like, all right, good. Yeah, if you have a mom who's an artist, which my mom is, you'll take every little piece of advice or criticism she gives you. I immediately fixed it, and I'm very glad that I fixed it, because kind of looking back now, it looked funny. It looked bad. But yeah, let me explain the clothing a little bit as I'm working on my Warden's face. So the clothing, I had a lot of freedom with my Warden. I could have done a dress that I did in another art piece a very long time ago, and I'll put it up in like on the screen. I could have went with this blue dress that I feel like was really nice, but it wasn't Ferelden in any way. And it's kind of hard trying to see the fashion in Ferelden, but I knew definitely that it would kind of look out of place a little bit, and I could have went with something else, but I think it was fitting, because in Dragon Age Inquisition you get a really tiny cameo of Alistair, and if Alistair married this other like side character, Honora, and Honora becomes the queen, they will both pop up in that cameo. And I was like, huh, okay, why don't I use Honora's outfit, or like dress, but kind of spice it up a little bit, because I don't know if you could tell, but Honora looks so basic standing beside Alistair. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna change a little bit of the colors, kind of make her stand out a little bit, but she's still fitting that Ferelden fashion. If I don't really know if they have a fashion really, but I like the dress. I like how it is. It's simple, but she stands out, you know. And yeah, in a lot of my fan arts that I have another fan art piece of my Warden coming out soon, but you can see in those photos that she has short hair, and my explanation for that onto why she has longer hair is, for my own personal headcanon of my character, I feel like she wouldn't cut her hair after meeting Alistair and kind of just... I know there's like a tradition, hair holds... well, not tradition, but there's a saying that hair holds memories. So I had a headcanon that maybe after her parents died, or before that, like in the game she has the short hair. I feel like after she met Alistair and like the world kind of calmed down, she let her hair grow out because she met Alistair, and she wanted to like kind of hold on to those memories of her family, I guess. And I know the personal headcanon is, I feel like her mother, like in the Kusun's way, I think it's a line in the game, but it's been so long since I played Dragon Age Origins I don't remember, but I think her mother tells like your Warden, if you're a female, like, oh, why aren't you being girly? In my case, I feel like my Warden would be very tomboyish and like wanting to be a warrior with her older brother. So I feel like it was like kind of a parting, or just like she would let her hair grow out to become more girlish. I don't know, it's like, I just feel like that with the hair holds memories, I think that would have meant a lot if that was a thing in Dragon Age. But yes, we're back to the background, and I do like, let me explain this a little bit more. Obviously you see in the original like photo of it, there's only one throne, and of course that would be for the king. But I was just like, if Alistair was a king with the Warden, right? I would totally believe that he would just love the Warden unconventionally. Like if they actually had like a developed relationship, he would love her and then obviously try to do everything in his power to make her happy, I guess. So I added the 2 thrones because I don't really believe he would just sit on a throne all alone. I feel like he would add a second throne for his queen. It could be just a crazy, like I'm being crazy about it, but I just felt like it'd be more romantic, I guess, to have the 2 thrones and they're sitting right next to each other. But I don't know if there's actually 2 thrones in the game if you have a queen in Dragon Age Origins. I just added that because I wanted to. So my personal ranking of this art piece, comparing it to the other 3 pieces, is I would give this rank 2 out of the 4. I'll just give you the whole list since this is the finale. I think number 4 would be Rook X Lucanus. I don't really know why, but this is just off of like my personal ranking of my art, by the way, not the relationships. I can rank that too. But of my art pieces, Rook X Lucanus would be number 4. Number 3 might be a little controversial, even though it doesn't matter because it's my opinion, would be my Solus X Lovelin, and I'll give you the explanation for that. But rank 2 would be Warden X Alistair, and then rank 1 would actually be my Fenris X Hawk piece. I'm giving my Hawk X Fenris piece number 1 because I love the background. I love the pose out there, and it's very romantic, and you could tell Fenris wants to get freaky with her, but oh, I didn't say that. Oh, who said that? Ooh, looking around. God, that was embarrassing. But I'm giving Alistair and Warden number 2 because they're also in a very romantic pose, and I like how the both of them look. I just love the piece, and I'm only giving Solus X Lovelin rank 3 because the pose, right? You could definitely tell that Solus is yearning or just looking at like the Inquisitor, but it's not enough. It's not romantic enough for me, and I'll definitely do another piece of the two of them soon. I have a lot of ideas coming. I'm cooking, guys. I'm cooking. But just Rook in the Laconis, giving it number 4. Just because. I know that's such a bad reasoning, but I don't know. Compared to the other 3, it just doesn't hit as hard as the other 3. In my opinion. What is your personal ranking out of my 4 art pieces? Like, how would you rank each one? I'm very curious. But if I had to rank all of the relationships, I'll do that a little bit later. But yeah, I'm doing grayscale in this piece because even though there's not like a definitive light source, I definitely wanted it to be the light source coming from a certain side. I think I had in the reference photo for the background, you could see where the light source was coming from, and I was just gonna have that lighting in the end. So the light source is kind of coming from upside-ish. And just working in grayscale is it just helps you get all of your contrast, and if it blends in too much, and you just have your values. I think that's the word I'm trying to say, your values, because it's very important in an art piece. And I feel like it's especially important in digital art. So I did that. I think I also did grayscale for Alistair. I kind of forgot. Also, I'm adding the kisses on him because, you know, they're both kissing each other. Yes. Yes. I'm such a nerd for this. But, yeah. Honestly, when coloring my Alistair's like clothing, I kind of just zoned out. I do that a lot in my pieces. When there's something that I don't necessarily look forward to coloring or doing, I just zone out and I do it. Or like I'm just paying attention to a video, but I'm coloring at the same time, you know? And then eventually when I'm done, I kind of stop zoning out and I'm like, oh wow, I just did all of that. I'm impressed with myself, and I am giving myself a round of applause. Doing a leather texture is easy, but it's hard at the same time, honestly. I don't know. I don't have a love-hate relationship. I'm indifferent to it. I like seeing the before and after of my rendering process. I know that for sure. I think in these time lapses, you can see me kind of looking back and forth between them. Not really. Right here, you can see me going back and changing that blush color on my Warden. I don't think, but I changed it because she's, you know, I feel like the dark blush was doing her more like it just didn't look good, so I changed it back to be a reddish color, kind of like you could tell that she's blushing, and I made more of it. And you know what? She's allowed to blush, alright? Righty. So, I noticed, like I'm noticing now, I do a lot of fur in my pieces. My new, streamer OC has just a fur coat, and I need to stop doing it. It hurts. It's annoying. It's actually kind of annoying though. I don't like it. I like how it looks in the end, but I don't like it. I don't want to do it no more. Come on, guys. doing Alistair's hair was very hard. Sketching it out, I don't know, like boyish hairs like Alistair's just doesn't make sense to me. Like the little flap of hair in the front near the hairline never made sense to me for some reason, and you could tell like when I'm going back and trying to like fix it or blend it a little bit to make it make sense to me. I think in the end it turned out good, but it's also kind of hard with Alistair, and I think I also had this complication with the colors of his clothing. There's so many different lightings and different colors. When you have a different lighting, you have a different color. So it's hard trying to find a photo of a character that doesn't have a harsh lining and you can just see what the colors are. And I think his hair, in the end, I went from that lightish color to a more orange-esque color. You don't see it in any of these time lapses, but I have two monitors, and I guess my drawing tablet counts as the third. So I'm constantly looking at reference photos, and I find it very helpful looking at other artists' art of like a character. I did this with the Lucanus, I actually didn't do this with the Soulless one. I was ballsy enough to do it, but I did it with Lucanus, I did it with Fenris, and I did it again with Alistair. And that really helps me kind of see the way other artists do it and how they kind of think of the character in a way. So yeah, it's just easier. Alright guys, let's talk really quick. So these time lapses, if you have ever seen any of my previous videos, specifically I guess the only one that's up now is the Avatar Akiake speed paint time lapse. It was a different type of recording. You like saw me do what I was like, you saw what my screen was. And I'm going back to those type of videos because I realized, and I didn't just realize, but I realized that doing like just showing the time lapses that the Fire Packet records as I'm drawing, it's not very entertaining. It's not at all. Sometimes you can't tell what I'm doing, and these are only really good for TikTok or Instagram, like a quick way of just getting my art out there. So I'm going back to the recording where you see what I'm doing. A reason why I stopped in the first place was because it was crashing my OBS recording at long periods of time, but I eventually figured out why it was doing that, because I didn't have enough space. But now I cleared a lot of my space, so I'm going back to it, and I am glad that I'm getting back into that because it's just easier, and I feel like it's more entertaining if you see what I'm doing in the screen and save all of these Fire Packet speed paints for Instagram, TikTok, or even YouTube Reels. I guess I could post that there. Alrighty, you guys made it to the end of the time lapse. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and if you want to see anything more, let me know. Bye bye!